TV, certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
Good to have you join us. Still International Forum. What could possibly change after this meeting of the U.S. envoy with the Russian President Putin? And of course, will that change the perspective of NATO? Because a lot has to do with the NATO perspective prior to this time, where they also are vehemently against Russia, claiming territories of Ukraine. And what will this be? Are they on the same page with the American president?
Who is NATO without the president or without the United States of America?
Oh.
Absolutely, you cannot have NATO without the United States of America, because when you look at prior to the Second World War, where you had the League of Nations that couldn't sustain world peace, and the war broke out again in 1936 or so. And after that, we now have United Nations. And now that United Nations seems to be the supervisor and the regulatory body with respect to world peace, United States of America takes the front seat, the driver's seat to be precise. And so you now have NATO, who is a security watchdog and an offspring of the United States of America. So when you separate United States, you cannot absolutely separate NATO from United States of America, because United States of America does the dictation to NATO. So, but what bothers me more, and my concern is in the whole of this peace palaver, so to speak, is that we've not been able to hear the side of NATO, the military hierarchy and the political actors in NATO have not been able to come out to maybe profile a solution to all of this issue between Russia and Ukraine. And yet, you see that what really caused this war was because Ukraine made an attempt to be a member of NATO.
Exactly.
By so doing, NATO would have a military base in Ukraine. And Putin saw that as a slide on him, and did quarried that it could lead to security risk in Russia.
Okay, so that as a slight only or as a threat?
But it was a slide which eventually gave birth to risk, security risk,
okay.
Risk, threat. You may use that.
But are you sure?
But just now,
are you sure a Putin will ever be threatened? Because
yes,
we saw sanctions, and yet these sanctions couldn't do anything.
No.
Or, are you sure he did something?
No. When you talk of protection of territories by nations of the world, or what is known as in international law as states in the world, you discover that every state wants to protect a territory.
Exactly.
And as such, where you have a perceived enemy close to your territory, then there could be threat of peace and risk of peace. And I think that was the singular reason why Putin raised an eyebrow and said, look, you cannot be a member of NATO. But again, when you look at it, Russia, on the other hand, failed to understand that Ukraine is a sovereign nation. That again comes to the question that do nations of the world, rather, do states of the world really have integrity, sovereignty?
Is that exactly where I was going?
That is the question. So to my mind, I begin to see that some of the so-called superpower nations are the ones who determine the sovereignty of other states.
Are you also putting in capture the aspect of the American president Donald Trump speaking about invading Nigeria to tackle insecurity?
Yes, it's part of it.
So that's a way of also robbing of Nigeria of its sovereignty.
Sovereignty, and to my mind, again, if you look at the Nigerian, sorry for the deviation,
no, it's allowed.
Just as an aside, the Nigerian supposed sovereignty as captured in the constitution is that the sovereignty of Nigeria is on the shoulder of Nigerians, the people. And by implication, I have come to understand also that between the war between Russia and Ukraine is that the sovereignty of both states are on the shoulders of the people. And that is why the man called Putin was able to carry the sovereignty of Russia to say, look, if we have NATO in our close to our territories, then our security is not guaranteed, because to him he said that there could be a spy on the military strength, status and equipment of Russia. That was his excuse. And if you look at it diplomatically, and you look at it with the third eye, you would agree with him that really it was going to be a threat to the security of Russia with respect to military technology, might, and strength. Now, if you apply same to Ukraine, you would also agree that Ukraine also has the sovereignty, the right to say, okay, I want to belong to XYZ organization. But now that you say you want to belong to XYZ organization, and another man seems to question your sovereignty, it goes to tell that the determinant of sovereignty of other states are by the superpower nations. So the superpower nations are the ones who determine the sovereignty of the junior or younger brothers.
Okay, that's your conclusion.
That is my take.
Your take,
yes.
You know, because you did that preamble. I know you were going somewhere. Okay, but well, let's look at the lessons learned so far, because the issue about Ukraine and all that started with seemed to be something that could lose some steeze on the part of Ukraine. Now, what do you see as lessons learned so far for sovereign states and their relations with the superpower nations that may be, making them or encouraging them to embark on a fight with another superpower?
One, don't be too hopeful. Never you allow yourself to be used as a bait between or amongst superpower nations.
Did you see Zelensky as that?
Yes. Ukraine is bleeding just now because the Ukraine was overconfident and was so hopeful that NATO and the Eastern Bloc, particularly the European countries, the Eastern European countries, could give her support.
But it's not over yet.
Support.
It's not over yet, is it?
It's over.
Because it depends on what Putin will also be talking about. I believe that it's going to be a compromise. It's not what Putin would have to decide on his own, but he must come to a compromise, because I believe that they are going to be having issues on the table that they will want to pick from as priorities. But again, what comes out from this meeting could also determine how this issue will be resolved.
I think that this meeting will be an exercise in futility. I think so. And what is my reason? My reason is that the major parties, the major actors of this war, those who propelled the war, are not involved in the resolution of this
Okay,
war.
that's a point.
So until they are involved, you know, Zelensky was more relaxed when Joe Biden was the president of United States of America. And Ukraine had impacts of the war on Russia.
Then,
When Joe Biden was the president of United States
as
of America.
compared to Donald Trump.
The time of Donald Trump. You see that one, even the military support that United States of America was giving Russia, it has reduced it. That is the singular reason why I think that the man, Donald Trump, is only trying to play the ostrich.
Okay, but again, don't you think Donald Trump would also want to be diplomatic in order not to, incur wrath from his country, and citizens?
No, Donald Trump came with an idea, and I think I buy to his idea. If our political leaders can also borrow a leaf from his idea, America first. That was a good one, and that is still a good one. America first. Anything you do, America first. So while he manages and supervises the proceedings of things in United States of America, he considers America first. So the security, the territorial protection, and territorial supremacy of America comes before any person and any state internationally. So, and because of that, yeah, you would agree with him, the man is only trying to be cautious and be diplomatic to see how America may not lose that watchdog of the world. So now that he is trying to protect that, cookery or otherwise, we would agree with him that yes, America should be first. I think every reasonable president should consider his nation first, unlike what we have in Africa,
And
where our leaders, their own is them first before any other person, like we had in George Orwell's piece, Animal Farm. So when you look at the way things are going just now, you would want to agree that despite the fact that America is a world power and superpower, America is also being careful not to have any diplomatic struggle with any state of the world.
So you're talking about business factors that also could be considered.
Because now America has a rival. And who is that rival? Right? China. China is American rival. While America is busy embarking on war, China is busy trying to capture the economic control of the world. So America too will have a thing and say, why should we engage in war and allow China to now capture all the economy of the world?
So meaning there's an extent
what
the
happens
American
to us
people, the American government can stick its neck out for any sovereign state.
Absolutely.
It cannot do that, against its interest.
Absolutely.
So interest comes first.
Yes. So that is the reason why I think that this man is not having a lot of support, Zelensky, from the United States of America. But again, unfortunately, the question now is, what about European Union? What about the European states?
We're going there,
What are they doing about the war? Is it because Putin is threatening them? Because any nation that tries to assist Ukraine, Putin's threatening. We saw the boundary missile release to Poland, because Poland shares boundary with two nations, with Ukraine and Belarus. So we saw how Russia hit part of Poland, and that was a threat.
That's
already.
a warning signal.
Yes, and already we now see that even the European Union is silent. So it goes to tell that this war, the prosecution of this war, there are a lot of betrayers.
Thank you so much. Well, let's as we wrap up, let's look at what you could be proposing, for Zelensky, if you were to give him a candid advice on the way forward. Cede territories or not?
Seek political solution. Don't cede your territories, because it makes you you now appear like a lazy man, a man who never counted the cost before he embarked on the war.
So the war continues, and the war continues if you are saying that.
No, the war may not continue.
Because what is on Putin's mind is getting those territories.
You know,
Otherwise, the war continues.
the germane problem here is that the international interference in the war, particularly 80% of the international interference favors
Russia.
Ukraine.
Ukraine, okay.
80%.
But if you look at the statement credited to Donald Trump, where he also said that the Zelensky should be getting ready to also cede some territories.
Yes, see,
that doesn't augur well.
It doesn't, but just now I think they need peace. And getting peace is very expensive.
So,
I must tell you.
So by what you want to say now, it means that you're also considering ceding some
no,
territories.
if you will cede,
in order to get a peace.
If you want to cede, you consider the economic importance of where you are going to cede.
And there should be a compromise.
Compromise, minus plus.
Both comes to shift grounds to make a compromise on it. Okay.
Then there could be another diplomatic way of arriving at a good solution. Why not work on the minds of those places you think you want to cede, so that maybe the citizens of those places could begin to protest. Oh no, we don't want to go to Russia, we want to go to Ukraine.
Well, a lot of interesting factors we just considered here. Big thanks, Emmanuel Obakpolo, for taking time to be part of this. We'll continue to follow the stories, and of course, we'll bring you the stories from this meeting that the U.S. envoy will be having with Russian President Putin. Maybe in the course of the news, we could be flashing it. And well, we'll do the same time next week. I am Philip Omo Gupo. Bye for now.
TV, certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.